Have you ever wondered how a young man from a relatively small kingdom could conquer the vast Persian Empire in just a few years? This exceptional individual is none other than Alexander the Macedonian, a figure who continues to fascinate us even after over 2,000 years. Born in the Kingdom of Macedonia, nestled in the northern regions of ancient Greece, he would go on to etch his name in the annals of history as one of the world's greatest military leaders. His conquests stretched over 3 continents, from the azure waters of the Aegean Sea to the golden sands of Egypt, and even as far east as the snow-capped Himalayas. The sheer scale and speed of his victories remain unparalleled, earning him a place among the pantheon of the world's most accomplished conquerors. So how did this young prince from Macedonia achieve such extraordinary feats? Let's delve into his life and find out. Born in 356 BC in Pella, the ancient capital of Macedonia, Alexander was groomed for greatness from the beginning. His parents, King Philip II and Queen Olympias, played monumental roles in shaping his future. Philip, a revered warrior king, instilled in Alexander an unquenchable thirst for military conquest. Olympias, on the other hand, filled his world with stories of gods and heroes, stoking the fires of his imagination and ambition. At the age of 13, Alexander began his education under none other than Aristotle, the renowned philosopher. This wasn't merely an education in the conventional sense, it was a training ground for kingship. Aristotle sparked in Alexander a love for Greek culture and honed his strategic thinking. The fusion of his father's military acumen, his mother's mythic narratives, and Aristotle's philosophical teachings created an extraordinary blend, shaping Alexander into a leader of unparalleled ambition and vision. This strong foundation set the stage for Alexander's later accomplishments. In 336 BC, a significant event catapulted Alexander from prince to king. A sudden bolt from the blue, the assassination of Philip II, Alexander's father, left the youthful prince to grapple with the reins of power. Amid the shock and grief, Alexander found himself thrust into a new role, that of the King of Macedonia. Alexander wasn't just content with the title, he knew he had to truly earn it. No sooner had he ascended the throne than he began his mission to consolidate power within Macedonia. It was an uphill task. Revolts and rebellions were a dime a dozen, with many regions seeing the young king's ascension as an opportunity to reclaim their freedom. But with his keen strategic mind and indomitable spirit, Alexander managed to quell these uprisings, further cementing his authority. His initial conquests were a testament to his military genius. Tribes that once posed a threat to Macedonia were swiftly brought under his control. The Illyrians, Thracians, and the Greek city of Thebes all fell under the might of Alexander's army. His victories not only expanded his territories but also sent a clear message to any potential adversaries: underestimate the young king at your own peril. Alexander's ambition wasn't limited to Macedonia or its immediate neighbors. He had inherited his father's dream of conquering the Persian Empire, the most formidable power of the time. Alexander, however, was not his father. He was a visionary who believed he could turn this dream into a reality. He began preparations for the daunting task that lay ahead. He knew the road wouldn't be easy, but then again, Alexander was never one to shy away from a challenge. His quick consolidation of power and successful initial conquests were just the beginning. With the Macedonian kingdom firmly under his control, Alexander set his sights on a larger prize, the Persian Empire. As the young king of Macedonia, Alexander was not just preparing for a battle, he was preparing to change the course of history. Alexander's campaign against the Persian Empire is one of the most successful military operations in history. This statement might sound grand, but the facts bear it out. The Persian Empire was the superpower of its time, yet Alexander, with his Macedonian troops, brought it to its knees. Let's start with the Battle of Granicus, a river in modern-day Turkey. Here Alexander faced an army of Persians and Greek mercenaries. It was his first significant battle against the Persians, and the stakes were high. But Alexander, with his tactical brilliance, overcame the enemy forces. The victory at Granicus opened the doors to Asia Minor for Alexander and his army. Then came the Battle of Issus in southern Turkey. King Darius III of Persia himself commanded the Persian forces. Despite being significantly outnumbered, Alexander and his men achieved a stunning victory. The Macedonians' discipline, coupled with Alexander's leadership and cunning, allowed them to overcome the Persian forces. The defeat of Darius III marked a turning point in Alexander's campaign. Last but not least, we have the Battle of Gaugamela, near modern-day Mosul in Iraq. Darius III had assembled a massive army, hoping to crush Alexander once and for all. However, Alexander outsmarted him. Using a combination of tactical maneuvers and psychological warfare, he managed to disrupt the Persian lines and strike at Darius III, forcing him to flee and effectively handing over the Persian Empire to Alexander. In just a few years, Alexander had accomplished what seemed impossible. He had defeated the Persian Empire, the most powerful empire of the time, and vastly expanded his own empire. His military campaigns showed his strategic genius, his ability to motivate his troops, and his unyielding determination. Alexander's victories against the Persian Empire were not just military triumphs. They also marked the spread of Greek culture and influence across a vast region, from Egypt to India. With the Persian Empire under his control, Alexander had become the most powerful man in the world. And yet, as we'll see in our next scene, even the most powerful man can't escape the inevitability of time and fate. Despite his extraordinary successes, Alexander's reign was not to last. His final years were a whirlwind of both triumph and turbulence. The once invincible king began to show signs of human frailty, with excessive drinking becoming an all too frequent habit. His thirst for conquest seemed insatiable, but the same could not be said for his troops. Tired, homesick, and disheartened, his soldiers began to grumble, their loyalty wavering. The whispers of discontent turned into outright mutiny. In the face of this rebellion, Alexander showed a side of himself that was seldom seen. He pleaded with his men, promising rewards and appealing to their sense of honor. But the damage was done. The unbreakable bond between the king and his troops had been shattered. Meanwhile, Alexander's health was deteriorating. His excessive drinking was taking its toll. He was often seen in a stupor, his once sharp mind clouded by the effects of alcohol. His physical prowess too was waning. The once formidable warrior was now a shadow of his former self. And then came the fateful day in Babylon. At the age of just 32, Alexander the Great, the king who had conquered vast tracts of the known world, fell ill. The sickness was swift and brutal. Within days he was on his deathbed. His loyal companions gathered around him, their faces etched with grief and disbelief. Speculation and rumors swirled around his death. Was it natural causes, or was it the result of foul play? The mystery surrounding his death persists to this day. But what is certain is that his passing marked the end of an era. The world had lost a great leader, a brilliant military strategist, and a man of extraordinary ambition. Thus ended the remarkable life of Alexander the Macedonian, a man who had changed the course of history in just over a decade. His influence, however, would continue to be felt for centuries to come, his name forever etched in the annals of history. Alexander's life was short, but his impact was immense. Despite his untimely demise at the tender age of 32, Alexander the Macedonian's influence reverberates through the annals of history, shaping cultures, cities, and military strategy. Let's start with the cultural impact. Alexander was a fervent proponent of Hellenism, the spread of Greek culture. As he traversed through Asia and Africa, he brought with him the Greek way of life, language, and thinking. This Hellenistic period saw an amalgamation of Greek and Eastern cultures, leading to advancements in various fields including science, arts, and philosophy. Even today, the echoes of this fusion can be found in the remnants of these civilizations. Next, let's talk cities. Alexander was a prolific city founder. He established roughly 20 cities during his reign, many of them named Alexandria after himself. The most famous of them, Alexandria in Egypt, became a beacon of knowledge and culture in the ancient world, housing the Great Library of Alexandria and the Lighthouse, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. These cities served as hubs for the spread of Hellenism and stand as testament to Alexander's vision of a culturally unified empire. Finally, Alexander's military genius has left a lasting imprint on the art of warfare. His innovative strategies, like the use of the phalanx formation and combined arms, revolutionized the battlefield. Many future military leaders, from Julius Caesar to Napoleon Bonaparte, studied and emulated his tactics, acknowledging Alexander's indelible mark on military history. Alexander's story is more than just a tale of conquest. It's a story of cultural fusion, city building, and military innovation. It's a story that transcends time, influencing the course of history long after his death. Alexander the Macedonian's life and conquests continue to fascinate us, a testament to his enduring legacy.